everybody, it's RPG Grandma, and we're continuing our experience point dive. Let's see. And there'll be more than just this for 2E. But 2E, definitely, killing monsters gets you experience points, just like all the other versions. So let's see what we've got going on here. Well, we got the chart. It's a very similar chart in the categories. You've got less than 1 subtract 1. And then you have the 1 subtract 1 to 1. The 1 plus 1 to 2 categories. And it goes on like that. All right. So when 1E, the basic value was 5 hit points for that less than 1 subtract 1 critter. In 2E, it's 7. So it went up 2 hit points, but there's some significant differences between the charts. 2E is streamlined, so it has less fiddly parts in figuring this out, including things like you're not going to calculate every hit point and add that to the amount. You do have modifiers like you did before, but the way that the hit points are done, instead of not hit points, but experience points, instead of adding the experience points value listed in 1E for that, for the additional powers based on how they're classed, abilities that the monster has, you or NPC that's attacking, you have a streamlined chart that just says +1, +2, +3. All right. And this chart, what it means is you take that +1, and that's counted as a whole hit dice. You add it to whatever category. So if you had a 1 subtract 1 monster, less than that, so it's not even a 1 monster, but you're going to, and it's 7, and it has let's say can regenerate. All right. No, petrification's better. That's a +3. So petrification. Suddenly you have an automatic 3 hit dice that gets added to that monster. So now the monster's 4 subtract 1, which would put it in the 3 category. Okay. And so it goes from being a 7 experience point monster to, say, 65. Something like that. So you're going to, that's how you do it. So it's completely streamlined. You don't double up on anything. So if they got, if they have multiple powers, sure, that can affect their hit dice. But if the chart for modifications is worded in such a way that it's basically the same thing, but manifesting differently, yeah, you got to choose one. You don't double it up in that case. So let's say they had because they have an example in there with spells. If they're casting a level 3 or greater spell, they get the higher modifier than, say, somebody casting a 2 or below level spell, but they don't get added together. All right, so that's like the big difference between the systems. You've got a lot more little charts in 1E. You got to do a lot more adding to get the true number. Here, it's all been streamlined. But might give different values for say, orcs. So, and let's take a look. So each orc is worth 15 experience points because they are a 1 hit die monster, and they don't have any special powers in 2E. So let's let me pop over here, and let's see what we got going on in the big chart. Oh, stuff. So the basic experience point value in 1E would be 10 for a 1 hit die monster. But then you would add up hit points and put that in there. So you're going to get some differences. On the other hand, how the modifiers are done is completely different as well. So, and there's some differences in where the modifiers fall, what kind of category they fall in. But that's what we're looking at. So, we'd have to probably pull a bunch of monsters and see if their experience points change drastically. Are they still kind of in the same range? Because I'm thinking, looking at it, they're going to kind of be in the same range. Probably in most cases, there's going to be, maybe some difference between the systems, but I don't think it's going to be that great at this point. Now in 1E, you got experience points for treasure. That is our next big question. Here is, do you get experience points for treasure? And I'm looking. Let's see. So they talk about the group awards, adventures difficulty. We all discussed that before, that this was an ongoing problem. Story award should not be great. So, okay, story award. So let's see. The other group award is that earned for completion of an adventure. This award is determined by the DM based on the adventure's difficulty. There is no formula to determine the size of this award. So this is up to you guys, since too many variables can come into play. However, the following guidelines may help. The story award should not be greater than the experience points that can be earned defeating the monsters encountered during the adventure. Thus, if the DM knows there's roughly 1,200 experience points worth of monsters, the story award should not exceed this amount. The story award should give a character no more than 1/10 the experience points he needs to advance a level. I got some math. This way, the character will have to undertake several adventures before he can advance to the next level. Within these guidelines, you can have a great deal of leeway. One of the most important uses of story awards is to maintain what you feel is a proper rate of advancement for player characters. By monitoring not just their levels, but also their experience point totals, you can increase or decrease the rate a character advances through judicious use of story awards. Finally, you can award points on the basis of survival. The amount awarded is entirely up to you. However, such awards should be kept small and reserved for truly momentous occasions. Survival is its own reward. Since story and survival awards go hand in hand, you may be able to factor the survival bonus into the amount you give for completing the adventure. Once you have calculated all the experience points due to your group or of player characters, and you should do this, not your players. I think something else that was happening back then. Divide the total by the number of surviving, and at the DM's option, resurrected player characters. This is the amount each surviving character gets, although characters who died during the course of adventure normally earn no experience, one of the penalties of dying. You can allow a character to earn some experience for actions taken before he died, particularly if the character died nobly, though through no fault of his own, or at the very end of the adventure. In such a case, it is simpler to give the character a flat award than to try to figure out separate experience totals for these actions of the characters. And an additional optional rule, which is the treasure. So that'll be the next video. All right, part 2 coming of part whatever we're on of this. So I'll be back. This is a 2-parter. I'm going to try to get uploaded. Bye.